wholeness, and good day, good way to you all. Happy Friday and all that other good shit. Sharing with permission, but really, like I was telling the person, is more people going through similar experiences than they are aware of. And for a long time, almost a decade, I've been under the point of awareness to where everybody is going through the same thing, just on different levels based off of the perspective of how the individual person is perceiving it. Something could be real heavy to you, so you give it energy and then it gets heavier. Something could be inconsequential to somebody else, they don't give it any energy, so they don't have that much of an experience. But long story short, what was going on was, I was having a conversation, and he was like, yeah, I'm a great grandfather. And I was like, oh yeah, how many guys? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? Speaking as a grandfather. Hell, you mean you don't know how many great grandkids you got? He was like, his daughter got mad at him because he had got remarried about 20 years ago or something like that. And his daughter was going through some shit, and his new wife, not her mother, was telling her, hey, woman to woman, you need to step your shit up. You are basically abusing your kids because you putting you ahead of them. She was going through her, I've been in a long relationship phase, and I'm not trying to be funny, but this is what it was. I've been in a long relationship, and I done gave everything to my man and my kids, and now he done cheated on me, so I'm gonna take it out on everybody. So she went through this little phase, more or less, where everything had to be about her, but it was about her in hurt mode. So it got to the point to where they were basically fighting to take her children, his grandchildren, from him. And for a while they had them, but then their relationship, the father and the daughter relationship, never repaired. So she kind of cut him out of the grandkid's life. One of them kind of kept in touch with him, a son, and actually had kids, which made his grandkids. Well, his great grandkids. Yeah, that was his grandson had a son, which made him a great grandfather. He introduced him for a little while, but then the mother got in the son's ear and kind of convinced him that he was the bad guy because he was, quote unquote, controlling by not giving her help when she needed it because she wasn't doing what he wanted. Which, like I pointed out to him, on some levels, yeah, that's the truth, bro. You got to eat that one. But also at the same time is you can't get caught into that usury cycle of helping people who won't help themselves and then helping them to the point to where you're harming you and then being made to feel like a victim when it backfire on them and they need somebody to blame because they didn't take not one damn bit of advice. So like I was trying to explain to him, and like I said, a lot of people I talk to are going through this, young and old. You can't make control. You can't control how somebody does something. You can, however, advise if you are a part of the equation. But you also got to know when enough is enough, and you have to understand that when they're not listening or honoring to what your advice is, and they still keep going down that road of destruction, you got to make a choice. Are you going to go down that road with them, or are you going to have a point of self-preservation and understanding that I can't save them even while I'm trying? And I was telling him, I get it, I understand it, man. That's hurtful as fuck. Again, speaking as a grandfather, that's hurtful as fuck when you no longer have access to that level of your children. Look, we love our children, but if you have not made it to grandparenthood, it's something different. Sorry for you. I love the fuck out of my children, and it is what it is. But your grandchildren are different. And I haven't made it a great grandfather yet, but I'm telling you, talking to this dude, I think great grandfather is even more of a heart pull than being a grandfather. So it's like, yeah, I want to give her space, or give him his space, his daughter and now his grandson, get them the space to do what they want to do. But I'm watching them fail, and they're trying to use the kids as leverage. So much to the point to where he was like, well, I can't help you if you don't want to take my advice and you just want to use my money, because now you hurting me and my family. Plus they disrespect his now current wife because they feel like he changed. when she came into the equation. And be that as it may, or as it may not be, it doesn't negate the fact that if you're doing wrong, you cannot keep pointing the blame on somebody else who is pointing out where you're doing wrong just because you think they doing wrong too. So read through that. So they're punishing him by trying to punish her, and basically the only ones that's getting the shitty end of the deal in this situation is not only the grandkids who were not given the opportunity to know their, biological grandfather and his family, but now the great grandkids aren't finding out about their people either. And this ain't about, well, find out your history and all this other shit. This is about people have to get out of their fucking feelings of when your shit ain't going the way that you want it to go, and your point of vindication and what people are calling the right to just, cut people off. Yes, you got the right to cut people off. I'll never take that from you. But you have to understand where your right to cut people off is really wrong, because you're punishing people where your inadequacies have been pointed out, and you're not big boy and big girl enough to stand on business and eat that L, and so you take everybody down with you. I can see if the person is abusive. See, there's parameters of this. I can see if he was abusive or socioeconomically, mentally, emotionally abusive and controlling, then yeah, you got to do what you got to do. But if it's, no, I'm just trying to give you points of guidance and I never really burn you when you don't listen, I just can't keep watching you do the same to the point to where now it's harming me. And so then, like I said, in that situation, she punished him for understanding that he was now getting to his cutoff point. So that was, to me, that's some bullshit when you young adults and older adults, because I see older people do it too, like to play that cutoff game because you disagree with somebody else. So now you're going to take your children too. It's the equivalent of taking my ball and going home. Look, if that person has not abused them children, grandchildren, grandchildren, you need to learn how to have a level of communication within the family that does not put you at a point of compromise. A phone call, a scheduled visit, take them over a mutual family member, something like that. But no contact just to prove a point. Don't do none of that motherfucking that TV bullshit we see all the time where, I ain't talked to my mother in 30 years and then she died, and then you come in, mama, I'm sorry. Ain't nobody got time for that shit. You motherfuckers better learn how to be big boy and big girl and eat the L when you're wrong, or stand on that W when you're right. But in either case, if there is a disconnect between two adults and there's children involved, both sides need to learn to think outside of their traumas and see what's best for the children and not just for themselves. And I think that was the whole thing of it, because like I said, hell, not to throw my other people on the bus, but I play a certain online game, and that conversation came up in our chat the other day, and it was like, out of 20 people in the alliance I'm in, at least 11 of them in that same situation. Yeah, man, I ain't seen my grandchildren in a year. Yeah, man, I ain't talked to my children in years. And out of a bunch of them, it was really the same thing. Well, I got remarried, or I got a divorce and they took the mother side, or I got remarried and they don't like the new husband or the new wife, and yada, yada, yada. It's holy shit. You don't like the way somebody else operates, so in your need for isolation, you take everything down. Y'all be having fire sales, but the only thing that you be selling is the lie that you put out the fire within yourself. And I guess that's the best thing I can say. Stop calling healing isolation when the only thing you're doing is creating more cycles of trauma. Y'all be out here yelling, I'm breaking generational curses by generating new ones. Do what you do, motherfucker, and let your life tell your tale in all that you do. But start being big boys and big girls and stop lying to yourself. Really.